cheek.
He loved those fish.
Speaking of death,
Yeah, go.
Sinead O'Connor, is that how you pronounce her name? I never know. I never know when it's like, yeah. I mean, that was, do we know what her cause of death was yet? It was unknown when I first heard about it.
Yeah, no, I'm not sure. Mid-50s. I think that was how old she was.
She was mid-50s, but
no idea. No idea what she died of.
Yeah, I didn't know about her activism.
What, the ripping up the Pope picture on Saturday Night Live? You didn't know about that?
I didn't know about that.
Well, now you do because she died and stuff. But now
I
you
know. But I mean, that's kind of really promoted her. Like, I mean, it makes you realize, like, well,
it was one of her big things, but also one of the things that, like, it was a give and take with her career, right? It was probably didn't do a lot of good things on one side, and then probably did a whole bunch of good on another side. So
it was 90. It was in 92. So I mean, she was ahead of her time.
Oh yeah.
Because I mean, it wasn't all this stuff about the Catholic Church. I mean, I know this is one of those things that people go like, oh yeah, no, I knew it was always happening. You know, like after it all breaks down.
Doesn't make it better, does it?
No, but it's like you look back on it and you say to someone, oh, yeah, the people say, oh, I kind of always knew that was happening. You're like, no, you didn't. Like,
oh, sure.
You didn't like, you know, it just seems that way because the way it's played out.
That doesn't sound good either.
No, but she was way ahead of her time in 92.
Yeah.
So and I watched that clip because when I sort of, read about it, I was like, what's she done now? Like, what's this Saturday Night Live thing? So she did this a cappella performance of Bob Marley's War. She looks into the camera.
Yeah.
And when she's saying fight the real enemy right at the end, which is like the last, I don't know if that's the lyric or
if she just said it.
No, when she's saying evil, which is the last lyric, she's holding the thing. She holds up the photo and then she says fight the real enemy, rips it up. And she hadn't told anyone she was going to do. Of course, you can't.
Yeah.
And it was just pure silence. It was crazy.
Yeah, but I wouldn't even know what that meant. Like, what is ripping up a picture of the Pope? What is that saying? Is that saying just fuck the church?
No, but it's a clear protest. It's like the whales. They're clearly protesting climate change when they
or that guy on Big Brother with remember that one?
What'd he do?
He had a free the refugees thing that he smuggled into the house on day one
right.
that had free the refugees on it. And the plan is that when he gets voted out, he's not going to talk at the finale. Like when they vote him out, they go, oh my God, Justin, you're out of the house. Come and sit down. And they sit down and they go, oh, what was it like? And they go, oh my God, it was the best. His plan was to put on this mask thing and not say a word. And
just wear the shirt,
Gretel Colleen,
right?
is that her name? Gretel Colleen?
Yeah, and he just gets mass exposure.
Yeah, and
How did that go down? What happened?
Well, I don't remember what the audience's reaction to it was, because it wouldn't surprise me if they were upset at this, even though he's trying to do something quite good.
Big Brother?
No, the guy who did this protest, right? He's saying, we got to help these people. That's what he's saying.
Yeah, but who would be upset about it?
Like the people in the audience, because they're like, we want to hear the goss from the house, bro. Like, shut the fuck up with your political bullshit and tell us what it was like to shit in front of millions of people. Like, tell us about that.
Man, how much more interesting is it someone doing a protest, though? That's like, to me, I'm like,
absolutely.
Fuck yeah. He's doing something different. He's not saying anything. He's wearing a shirt. What are they going to do? Like, how's the program go on?
Yeah, and I think because they get like given gifts at the end. I don't know if this is just my memory playing tricks on me, but they're like, okay, so this is your watch. This is your lovely watch that you get.
They probably do get gifts, don't they? It'll be like a big advertisement.
Yeah, totally, man. Totally.
Yeah, well, Sinead got treated like an insane, crazy person for 10 years.
Exactly.
After that. And then apparently some people started coming around after about 10 years later, early 2000s, when the spotlight really went on the Catholic Church for its abuses, its child abuse. Right. And I think she got sort of treated a little bit more. Everyone's like, oh, no, she's cool. Like, it's not as big a thing. She's a bit different, though, isn't she? I didn't know how different she was. She did a Cat Stevens and converted to Islam.
Oh, cool. Right on.
So apparently she changed her name as well to Shahada Sadakat.
Yeah, cool.
But she continued to perform under her birth name. I didn't know that.
No.
Well, I didn't even know she did the Saturday Night Live thing.
Yeah,
so
but
how
like,
was I supposed to know
it
that?
was also at a time where like the internet didn't exist really, and we weren't really privy to everyone's personal lives at all. Like now, you could be like, how many girlfriends has Chris Hemsworth had? And you can look it up, and there'll be a website like Wikipedia that'll be like
Dedicated,
personal
yeah.
life. So and so dated so and so for this amount of months, and I'm like, shit. Why do I need to know this? I don't need to know this. I don't want to know this. I'm reading it, but I don't want this. So, yeah, I don't think anyone sort of envisioned the world that we would live in today where so much of, like Sinead O'Connor's Wikipedia page, probably never thought that would even exist, but there it is. It's got a detailed account of pretty much everything she did, professionally and otherwise, and even tells you about her death. So, what a fucking world, yeah.
I mean, I didn't know anything about her other than that she was an Irish singer. Didn't know what she was known for, and I just knew her for Conor McGregor's walkout.
Amazing. So
which was
you can rewatch
incredible.
that now. You can rewatch that now with a bit of a different take now, right? Now that you know her backstory, you'd be able to see a bit more in that now.
I thought it was one of the best walkouts I've ever seen. Now I think it's probably the best walkout of all time.
Yeah.
That was powerful.
Yeah.
I remember Joe Rogan losing his mind. I rewatched that, and at the end, he's like, "This isn't just about Conor McGregor. This is about Ireland." Like he was getting really excited.
Yeah. Joe's pumping it.
He was saying the story of the fight is not just Conor McGregor; it's Ireland. It's a fight about how much pride these people have. There's never been anything like that, like this. The Irish people have come out in a way that defines them as a nation. This man has incredible weight on his shoulders right now. The pressure on his shoulders.
But this was against Chad Mendes. This was the Chad Mendes fight because Chad had this like country star, like this country singer come out to be like, I'm an all-American boy after Sinead O'Connor does. It's a famous Irish song. I'm going to not remember it.
It was the Foggy Jew.
Yeah. And then he comes out to, I'm an all-American boy. And I just couldn't believe it.
Mendes came out first. Surely Conor came out second. Not the champion.
That's a good question.
I think he did.
Tough act to follow.
Yeah.
If he did.
Actually, maybe I'm wrong about that, actually. I'm not sure.
But it was one of the only times they actually had live performers do the walkout songs. And that's what made it special, being Sinead O'Connor, getting up there, singing. She would have loved that. She would have freaking loved that.
Yeah, apparently he sold out the O2 Dublin in record time, this McGregor fight.
Bloodfest, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Just two people beating the absolute shit out of each other.
Wait, was that the one where McDonald just sort of sat down and just kind of tapped out?
I don't know.
Was that the one where or was this?
It's the one where Robbie Lawler's face got completely split
open,
wide open. Rory McDonald looked like he was in a 10-round one-sided fight.
Yeah.
Like his face was all busted up. And they were going. I thought they went to the final, man. I thought that was a Hall of Fame fight. Maybe I'm remembering it wrong, but I thought that went 5 rounds.
Well, I think that was match of the.
Maybe he did give up because maybe he was having some serious like breathing problems or something.
His nose cave in pretty much?
Yeah,
and he couldn't take another jab. He was like, "This is my."
That's
true. He felt like his whole face had caved in, like he'd been sucking on a lemon.
Yeah, TKO 5th round, 1 minute in. So they did go to the 5th. So they had that stare down in the 5th where it's like, hey, we're doing this. And Rory was, teed up.
If you're suffering severe pain deep in your face, you got to start worrying. You might think the structural integrity of your whole skull has been breached.
Yeah.
And if you start thinking like that, sometimes you can probably overthink it as well.
True.
Yeah, but Joe was making an interesting point where he said, like, very few human beings in this world will ever experience anything remotely similar to what's going on in the mind and the body of Conor McGregor as he steps into the octagon. And it has made me wonder about those kind of immense feelings that some humans
get to have.
I don't think I'll ever get one of those because
so you've never felt the weight of a country on your shoulders. You've never felt that. Is that what you're saying?
No. And I've never felt like can you imagine being a pharaoh on the summer solstice and the light shining in through the corridor that happens once every so often and you're surrounded by hieroglyphs that are imbued with meaning and there's been pharaohs upon pharaohs before you, and you're told this. You could work yourself up into this amazing mental state.
Yeah, this God feeling.
This God feeling. And I wonder about that a little bit when I do my meditation and yoga and things. I always wonder if it's all just a state of mind. Not that I want that feeling.
Sure.
But if it's all in your head, can't you
Yes.
get those powerful feelings just through believing can't you work yourself up?
Listen. I know what you're saying. I find it very difficult to fool my brain if I know I'm trying to fool it.
Mm.
You know you're trying to achieve.
What happens if you believe it?
Yeah, but I don't.
You're a little bit insane though if you believe it, aren't you? Because it's not actual reality.
You'd have to, again, trick yourself into believing it, which is hard, or in my opinion, kind of impossible, because there's a process you're doing where you're immediately going, oh, no, that's not, no, don't worry about that. Yeah, I don't know, man.
I've wondered whether you need to have, when it says, Joe was saying that Conor's got the weight of, the whole nation on his shoulders, and he gets to get that feeling because he's got the spotlight on him, and he knows everyone's interested. He knows that the viewer's crazy. He knows he's sold out the O2 Dublin in record time. He knows he's got this. He's got this feeling from apparently pretty close to Sinead, and he feels. He says, "Don't mess with Sinead. She's a badass."
Yep.
So he's got all the feels going on, but that's sort of being generated by everyone around him. But what he's feeling is just within his head.
He's talking to his mates as well. And he's going, how many Twitter followers do you reckon fucking pharaohs had? If they were around there, 2 million, 1 million, 1 million followers. He's like, I got 20 million. He will say stuff like that. He's that kind of, and they would go, yeah, you're way bigger than a pharaoh, Conor. Like, cause that's their hype crew,
Yeah, talking him up.
But they want to feed that ego because they want him to get bigger and bigger.
Well, Dana White certainly was feeding that ego. And his ego reached an all-time high in the next fight against Jose.
Yeah, amazing.
Aldo,
and a lot of build-up to that fight, like
huge build-up.
Years of build-up. A botched world tour. Yeah. It was the biggest fight. Yeah.
It was so big. Even though it was short, it was one punch. It was one punch, but
still great. Yeah, so it was at the MGM Grand Garden, which is in Vegas. Yeah. 16,000 people attended. There you go. 6 seconds. Well, 13 seconds, sorry. Boom.
Yeah, Conor rode that wave hard. I mean, he doesn't quite have that same...
Well, his record's like a bit busted up these days. But that's because ever since the Jose Aldo fight, it's not like you can take an easy fight after the Jose Aldo fight. Do you know what I mean? Every fight he's had has been really tough. Like straight after the Jose Aldo fight, he fought Nate Diaz at welterweight. He just won and unified the featherweight title, and he went up to welterweight. So he skipped lightweight, went to welterweight, and lost.
Okay.
Then he fought Nate Diaz again at welterweight, won by a majority decision. Then he fought Eddie Alvarez. See, these guys are all killers. Straight after that, Khabib, Donald Cerrone, then Dustin Poirier twice.
Okay. Yeah.
So you can't take a step back. You can't go, I wouldn't mind fighting, who's this guy who's in the top 15? He can't go for those fights anymore.
Okay.
So he's going to lose more than he wins these days because he can't take a backward step.
Yeah, right.
Or he can't be seen to be taking a backward step. I don't think he'll fight, man. I think he might be done.
That wouldn't surprise me. He's a smart guy as well. I think gets to a certain point, he'll just.
He's got young kids as well. Like, why get beaten up for money? Anyway, power to him if he wants to keep doing it. I support it.
You support it? That's all that matters.
I do. I think he was much healthier as a human being mentally when he was not rich and famous. So.